Journalism 101. I'm going to go to school with you guys today. Let's do it. We have a GM vacancy. The Jets parting ways with Mike McCagnon on Wednesday of last week. So who's been the most impressive GM this offseason? Schrager, you have your hands up in the front row.
Yeah. The chalk picks are the teams that added the most big names, and we can go through those. But I'm going to go with one a little off the board. I'm going to say Brandon Beane in Buffalo, and it's more than just the players they brought in. First, let's see the players they did bring in, because I think the haul itself is enough. It speaks on itself. When you start talking about guys like John Brown, who can extend the field for Josh Allen, you have veteran like Frank Gore, Mitch Morse, who's considered one of the best centers in the league, and then the rookies, Ed Oliver and Cody Ford, were both considered top 15 talents. They both get them. And then Devin Singletary, and of course, Ty Nsekhe, who we had on the show, is going to be a solid tackle. But I like the attitude that Brandon Beane had this offseason. There's something to being the Buffalo Bills general manager and the face of the Buffalo Bills from that executive level where we don't get pushed around. And that Antonio Brown thing came out where he was rumored to go in there, and then the story came out that AB didn't want to go there because he didn't want to play in Buffalo. When Brandon Beane came back and said, no, that really pissed me off. Yeah. That's not what happened. We weren't courting him for that. We didn't even talk about that. And in fact, had this quote to say when he was asked about the entire Antonio Brown thing: don't speak about Buffalo if you don't know what this city and what this fan base is. Yeah. It really pissed me off because it's not true. You want to rally your fans? Start talking like that and start being one of them. So for me, it not only was the haul and the players and what they get, it's the public relations aspect of it. And knowing that you're more than just a player evaluator. You're the face of the franchise, you're the voice of the franchise, and you're the guy setting the tone. So Brandon Beane, I think he's had a heck of an offseason.
I like it.
Yeah. You know, Daniel Jeremiah's name was floating around for the Jets GM job. Peter, in your wildest dreams someday, would you ever like to be an NFL general manager?
No.
No?
I like what I'm doing. I honestly love what I'm doing right here.
20 years from now, though? Okay, I think you'd be good at it.
I don't. I don't think the daily grind of that and the thankless, those guys, that is a thankless job.
What is
I just thought it's just I think you'd be good at it. I mean,
I appreciate you saying
this isn't a daily grind? Come on, Tracy, you can do
Have
it.
you seen Peter in the morning meeting? Right? Come on.
Well, Nate knows that really well.
Nate's never seen you in the morning meeting. By the way, where's Nate?
What do you got?
The daily grind for Nate.
What do you got?
All right, imagine if you were Seattle Seahawks GM John Schneider. Here's your spring to-do list. You have it on your fridge with a magnet and everything. Okay, it's first of all, sign the biggest contract in the history of the sport. Make sure our quarterback doesn't leave. And then you only got 4 draft picks in the draft and make them all perfect. So how the hell am I supposed to do this? He did it. Got Russ signed, and then he goes into the draft, John Schneider. Some people probably show up and are like, this is easy. We got the picks we want. The players fall to us, just like in a fantasy draft that we want. Schneider turned 4 picks into 11 picks. Awesome. Nobody worked harder. Nobody put more into it. And that guy he's hugging right there makes his job so difficult now because he takes all the money. He turned 4 into 11 along the way. I thought made the cool pick to get DK Metcalf. Said, we're going to try it. We're going to grab this guy, and I think he's going to play for us. He's got him. He's got Frank Clark leaves. There's so much going on in John Schneider's world.
Handling the Russell deal could have been real ugly this offseason. They got that done before we got into all this stuff.
He's a veteran guy. He's been doing it for, I think this was his piece de resistance. Like the 2019 spring should go on John Schneider's GM demo reel. Wherever you are, John, congratulations.
A+ answers, but what if it's the team in a vacuum that landed the 2 biggest free agents, maybe the best draft pick and best personality in the draft at number 3, and already had a franchise quarterback in the draft the year before? You could make the argument without looking at price tag, without looking at anything, that what McCagnon did and what he's leaving in New York was the best GM move made throughout this process. I'm not talking about how much they overspent or whatever. Shrakes, you're like me. We want it, we go get it. We want to go spend a lot of money on something in the middle of the afternoon at a nice restaurant. We go and do it. He seemed to go do that. I almost like that more than a frugal, conservative way of spending money, a la like the Colts who had a ton of money.
McCagnon,
there's something to be said about
as I've said, and I think we've the sausage was made.
Yes.
Right? Like, the end of the deal, like, however it got done, they got a great haul this offseason. McCagnon's work was fantastic. How it was made is maybe what's going on internally there.
Yeah, we'll see how it all goes. Now, the world is buzzing after the finale of Game of Thrones. Last night, one of the show's biggest fans, Patrick Mahomes, weighing in prior to the final episode, saying, I will miss. # Game of Thrones Twitter. Can't wait to enjoy tonight. We're still waiting on the MVP's official review of how things shook out with Brandon Broken. My question for you guys, though, is about Patrick Mahomes. What would success look like to him? I'll submit right off the bat, 35 or fewer touchdowns by him. He doesn't have to be the MVP because that means the defense is doing its job.
Oh, that's interesting. So
it's very practical.
A stat downturn is success because
100%. No 50 touchdowns, 35 or less means means success.
That's interesting. I like that. I think for me, it would be the team goals, and that's getting to the Super Bowl. That's really not only success, but I feel like the expectation right now in Kansas City. And I like throwing things out here early on.
Do it.
I'm hearing stuff, guys, and I know we've been down this road.
Go on.
Sammy Watkins looks incredible.
Okay.
And that could just be spin.
I like this road.
That could just be spin, but it's from the local guys, and it's also from people that know the organization very well, saying Sammy's finally in the best shape of his life, that if there is a Tyreek Hill issue, if Tyreek Hill's not going to be on the field, if they have to miss him, Sammy Watkins is ready to make that next step. So let's suggest that Sammy Watkins steps up. Let's suggest that Tyreek Hill is on the field. Let's suggest that the running back situation is just fine. And let's suggest that the defense gets even better. Super Bowl or bust. That is success for Patrick Mahomes in 2019.
If I could talk to Patrick Mahomes, I would say there's so much chatter about you going on right now and so much what the Chiefs don't have. And I would say there's GOATs, there's dinks and dunkers. You are a dragon. Be a dragon. Blood and fire. I agreed with you last week, this idea that, well, the less touchdowns he has means the defense is better. Maybe the defense can better and he can still drop a 50 bomb on him. Because he's got to be hearing, exactly. Like, that's what I would say, Pat. You get under that first time behind center, you're right here, 1st and 10 and 25, lift that leg up. Dracarys, whoosh. Never mind Tyreek Hill, never mind any of those guys.
Ride that dragon.
Ride the thing.
Miss Sunday said that to your girl,
exactly.
and look what happened.
And look what happened.
And look where they ended up, Kyle.
I think you just go into that King's Landing that is the AFC West and light it on fire. Because this is supposed to be the letdown year. Now we see a more practical, as if it's your 10th year in the league. It's his 3rd season, his 2nd as a starter. Blood and fire. Go get 60 on him. Do whatever you got to do.
Tiki Barber, friend of the show
Tiki?
here in New York. He's the proud owner of the all-time Giants rushing records. A lot of records, by the way. But he also knows that he might not own that by the time that Saquon Barkley is done. He told us this several times being on our show, but he also told NJ.com, quote, if he stays healthy and stays here in New York, my records don't stand a chance. I want to know which NFL player you think loses their record. Whose record is expected to fall in 2019?
I think Kyler's going to shatter them all. All the rookie passing records. What does that mean? Baker Mayfield just last year, 27 touchdowns.
Kyle.
Gone. Shoot, and the harder one, Andrew Luck threw for 4,300 yards as a rookie. Because I think Kyler is going to be, I don't know how many games they're going to win, just by volume. Like, he is going to start week 1. We know that. He is going to chuck the hell out of it because I don't know if the defense is going to be great. I think he is going to put up huge, huge numbers. Cliff didn't bring him in and start all that drama with Rosen to check it down and start the run game. It's going to be the Kyler show. Maybe they win 6 games, but I think he puts up huge numbers.
I'm with Kyle that if Kyler is upright and playing 16 games, he will shatter everything because Cliff is going to build an offense that just requires it. So I'm with you on Kyler having an opportunity. I'm going to go with another young quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson breaks record. Michael Vick had over 1,000 yards rushing as a quarterback in 2006.
So
Lamar, 17 games. If he's healthy, I think he can run for 1,200 yards in this offense. They've got that guy right there blocking for him. Nick Boyle, the best blocking tight end in the league. 3 other tight ends, 2 of them being Andrews and Hurst, who were first and 3rd round picks last year, and one of the best offensive lines in football. And it's nobody's job but his. It is the Lamar Jackson show. I think he will break the rushing quarterback record. Michael Vick has it since 2000. That's 13 years. It's going down. Lamar's going to go for 1,200 this year.
Extra credit question.
Yeah!
Like, what do I do with Mark Ingram in fantasy? What do I do
I
with
think they all get it. Honestly.
He gets 1,000 yards
I think,
too?
I
Come
think
on.
there might be 7 pass attempts a game the way this thing is looking.
Peter, I'm here for your Nick Boyle takes.
I
love
love
it.
Nick
That gets
Boyle.
me up on a
I
Monday,
think
baby.
Boyle.
One of the craziest records last year that we sort of forgot about is Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
And he's 8
Yeah,
straight
that was nuts.
100-yard games. Who's going to beat that this year? I thought about that. Who could possibly potentially break that? You got to say Michael Thomas, right? With the way Drew Brees loves to feed him, he'll have 1150 targets. He catches almost all of them. Maybe not exactly when they count, but most of them. He could, volume alone, be the guy to go 9 straight 100-yard games.
The Saints offense without Ingram's going to be fascinating because
Yeah.
I think he did so many good things for them, but it does seem like they may be a little more wide open, and that sells huge things.
If you had to pick somebody to break that record, who would you pick?
Maybe DeAndre. He was just so damn good last year. But someone for the 100 yards, you'd have to have big plays. I don't know, DeAndre or Thomas. You know me, I'll go Mike Evans for every answer.
It's Antonio Brown or
Could be
Juju.
Antonio, could be Brandon Cooks in the Rams offense.
Juju, who do you think will break Adam Thielen's record? Let us know on Twitter at #GMFE. Sorry, I'm pointing like a teacher would.
It's good.
But it is
Journalism.
Journalism 101.
Journalism,
You vote, by the way. on something big today. What's going on?
Democracy.
We struck something last week. Who's the best running back in the league? How about we go 16 deep and have you vote as fans, and we figure it out at the end of the week.
But this will help me sort out my fantasy running back.
Okay, good.
We'll have an answer
They're
at the
all
end of
up
this.
in the air.
Sammy Watkins takes next.
And a big retirement announcement from a two-time Super Bowl champion leaving as the Walter Payton Man of the Year. We love you, Chris Long. We're celebrating you.